you'll notice I'm not checking the rivets yet. I'm actually going to go through when I get this bottom row done, and I may actually use my wife to do this. This is a rivet gauge, and I'm going to have her go in and check every single rivet. My hand is too big. I've got too big of a meat hooks to get in there and do that with this little thing. So I'll have her come down and check all my rivets to make sure that they're set the right depth. You probably don't need to do that. It's probably overkill. A lot of builders will say that you're wasting time by checking every single rivet. Just spot check a few. But the way I see it, this plane will have my life in its hands, so I want to make sure that every single thing is done to spec. So far, it's looking pretty good. Haven't messed up a rivet on this flap yet, so knock on wood, we'll keep that going. All these are done, and we're going to start working on the outer bays now. I gotta tell you, I don't know who came up with the idea of using a yoke as a bucking bar for tight spaces like this, but man, they were spot on. It works great. I think it may have been Mike Bullock from RVplane.com. I think it's where I got the idea from. I'm not sure. I probably should have made note of that so I could give the proper reference, but whoever came up with the idea and wherever I read that from, man, it's a great suggestion. And a lot of times you'll learn a lot of different things. You'll learn a lot of different things from other builders like that. We're about 75% battery. I'm not sure how long this thing is going to last. We'll just see. If it dies midstream, then I apologize, and we'll use power on the camera next time. Again, first time using the Mevo, so let's just get back to work. We got 2 left on this outside part, and that'll be finished up out here. So this bottom part is just about done, and then we'll go and do the ribs next. As you start to do more and more riveting, you kind of learn how it sounds when a rivet is set. The pitch will change from the hammers. Each hammer will get a slightly higher pitch And as the rivet work hardens, it gets harder as the rivet actually gets harder as it's squeezed. It's called work hardening. And because of that, every successive hammer blow has a different pitch. Alright, so we'll work back towards this outer. This is actually the inboard side. The inboard side of the left flap here. So we'll finish this inboard side up. The outboard is done, and then we'll take a look at her work. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I've got a few more clecos I want to remove, and there's a couple of holes behind these I'll reposition to get to. Let's see, I think I'll slide it down. I'll slide it down this way. There we go. I had a couple of holes that was behind these pieces of wood I need to get to. Let's see, I think I got this one down here, and that's going to be it. Make sure the rivet's good and flush in the hole, and then we'll buck it. Slide a little bit. There we go. Alright, so they look good. All I've got left is the holes for the actual ribs. Not doing those just yet. We'll come back and we'll rivet all the ribs, and I'll probably work the same way. I'll probably do inner and work my way out. I'll probably end up doing up a little bit, out, up a little bit, and out. That seems to be the best way from what all the videos I've seen. That seems to be the best way. That way you don't get any warpage along the work piece that you're working on. Let me get this centered back up a little more, and we will start digging into these guys. So these are the 3.5 rivets. They're 3.5 in length, and that's just because it's joining a piece of skin to a piece of skin. I think this is probably 25 thousandths. I think we can look it up, but it's joining 25 thousandths, 25 thousandths. Where this is going to be going from the bottom skin to the rib, and then down here, this hole will actually be going from the top skin to the bottom skin to the rib. And this is going to require probably a longer rivet than what these are, just by the nature that it's going through more material. So we'll see what Vans calls out for this stuff. There's a way you can check the length. I've got a rivet gauge to check that you can stick through the piece that you're working on, and then measure to make sure that the tail is the right length. And typically you want, it's 1.5 times the diameter of the rivet sticking out for your tail. So for example, if I've got 5 pieces of work stacked up that I want to rivet together. The rivet length is going to be whatever the size hole that I've got, with like a 3/32 hole, multiplied by 1.5, and that's how much tail that I'm going to need for my shop head. Right, so that's how much rivet I'm going to need sticking out of the pieces when they're clamped together that I need to rivet. I need 1.5 times that diameter to actually compress to make the actual shop head of the rivet. So that's a good rule of thumb, but luckily Van's plans are fantastic. We don't got to do all that crazy math. I just look at the plans. They've already done the math for me and says, okay, this is going to be, these are going to be AN 426-3-3.5. So that makes the job easy. So let's see what they call out for these. And I'm going to try to maybe share this video, I think. See what happens with that. Well, let's see here. And again, I'm not very good with this Mevo camera stuff. This is the first time I've actually tried to use it. So I may have just been showing you that one piece this whole time. I just now realized that. So apologies. Apologies again. I told you this is going to be awkward. I've never done this before. Used this particular bit of technology before, so bear with me. This is all new. So I'll just give you a bigger view. I'll just try to get this expanded out. And I'm using my phone to control the camera, so that's kind of awkward. I have to use my phone to take pictures. I have to use my phone to control the camera, and really, I just want to get down here and build. That's kind of what I like to do, is just build. So I think I may actually end up just stopping this video, and since I jacked up the original, the first of it, and just had it focused on this single piece. I think I'll stop this video and then start a new video where I'm finishing up these end ribs here. So watch for that one. Talk to you soon.